Hi everyone, we're here today in the Shandwick Indonesia office, joined by Pigar Mahdar, one of Jakarta's finest digital associate. Pigar, you've been working on gamification and how that's playing in social media and across different business portfolios. How is gamification being used in Indonesia at the moment?
To be honest, Jayde, I don't think it's actually being used quite a lot because well, I think it's a very new way of thinking, and it's very different, and not a lot of people understand about gamification. And the reason why, because it's about putting game mechanics into a non-gaming context, and so you're putting two different worlds into one. And so I think for us it's something very interesting, but for the Indonesian market it's pretty new, and people have been really looking into it.
You told me this statistic before that 80% of all gamification outcomes flop.
Yeah, which is really interesting, isn't it? I mean, like 80% of like all our gamified or initiatives flop. But at the same time, I was just reading it the other day where by 2016, over $2 billion will be spent on gamified applications. So we know that we're failing at it, we know that we're not very good at using it, but at the same time we're really invested in making sure that we do it right, because I think a lot of people understand that games and video games in general, and just games, have a really good way of making us more engaged and more motivated to be able to do stuff without feeling like we're, without expending anything except just our time, motivation.
And how is gamification a good way of modifying people's behaviour?
Yeah, well, I guess you could say when you're in a game, you're very different to who you are in real life. With a game, there's four things that you need in a game. There's feedback, there's the goal, there's limits, and there's voluntary systems. And when you put them all together, you're being put in the place where you might fail, where you know that you're going to spend probably 6 hours of your time trying to get this goal, but you continue to do it. And it's because of the feedback. It's because you know that there's this promise that you are able to go past this level, and you're able to go and get the amount of scores that you want. So that definitely does something to a consumer. For example, if you were to doing it as a marketing effort, if you were to provide them feedback for them to be able to know how close you were in being able to get this particular discount. You see it in this Chinese internet e-commerce website called Taobao. So what they do is they provide you every member. They provide you with a leveling system, which shows how close you are to becoming a VIP, and when you become VIP, you get discounts. And so it shows you how many hearts that you need to get in order for you to go and get this discount. And being able to get that feedback, it does something to the consumer. It makes them either feel more engaged or more motivated.
Yeah, and engagement and motivation are really hard to come by.
Exactly. But what's really interesting about PR is, when it comes to PR and the PR agencies that I've studied and that I've looked at, they provide just traditional PR activities. They usually just do media relations, or they do just client work. There's never been any gamified PR strategy, which is really interesting because it really poses new questions. Like, can you put game mechanics inside traditional PR activities? Does it make it less of a PR strategy than other PR strategies? So, to answer your question, no, there hasn't been a lot of that video game mechanic, but it does bring out some interesting ideas as to what we can do.
Definitely a new area to explore.
Definitely.
There you have it, gamification and PR. We'll be with you next time. That's signing out from Shandwick, Jakarta.